Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna and today I'll be sharing with you my summer TBR. I really like the idea of seasonal reading, and so usually during the fall time I will have a fall TBR, but for the first time I wanted to have a summer TBR because last year I really enjoyed picking up like summery romances, and in the past I have also enjoyed classics during the summertime, so I do have a mix of some of those genres as well as some other books which either have summer in the title or are more, I feel like, summer themed. Before I got started on this year's books, I wanted to just share two from last year that I really enjoyed and that I would recommend putting on your TBR for this year if you have not done so already. The first of those is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch, and the other is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow by Laura Taylor Nami, which I read at the beach and it was perfect. So I definitely recommend checking out both of those. But without further ado, let's get into this year's. So I'll start off with a few classics. I am a big Jane Austen fan, and I do own the complete collection of her works, and I have read 4 out of the 6. So one of the 2 that I've yet to read is Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. I don't know too much about this one, but yeah, I remember reading Jane Austen just outside during the summer, and it's a pretty purple cover as well, which gives it a more summery feel. So excited to read that one. Usually these classics take me a bit longer, but I like how during the summer I usually have more time and can become a little more invested in them. The next is Anne of Avonlea, which is the sequel to Anne of Green Gables. I think I read that one last year or the year before and have yet to pick up the sequel, but I did really enjoy Anne of Green Gables. I have heard that this one, sometimes people reference this one as a fall book, but personally I think it's a good fit for like spring, summer. And then the final classic on my list is one that is on my 24 books to read in 2024 list, which I have on my blog and that I will link down below, but that is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. I have heard really good things about this one. My mom actually recommended it. I think she listened to the audiobook. It's like a coming-of-age story set in New York, and it looks really intriguing, so I am excited to finally read this one. So now on to some of the more summery romances. I know for some of you these will be a lot more exciting than the classics. So first up, I have Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I have never read an Ali Hazelwood book before. I know her romances are quite popular, so I am curious to see what I'll think. This is her YA book. I think it's her first and only YA book she has published so far, and it centers around chess. Again, we have another really pretty bright cover, and I am excited to see what I think. Next is A British Girl's Guide to Hurricanes and Heartbreak by Laura Taylor Nami, which is the sequel to A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow, which I recommended at the start of this video. And since I really enjoyed that one, this is a companion novel. It follows one of the side characters from that first book, and I am just so excited to sit outside in the sunshine and dive into this book because I know I'm really going to enjoy it. Next up is another one I can't wait to get started on. I've actually been waiting a while to read it, and that is Give Me a Sign by Anna Sortino. I bought this one last November when I attended YALC, the Young Adult Literary Convention in London, and I bought it then and was tempted to just dive straight in, but I made myself wait because I know it's going to be a perfect fit for the summertime, as it takes place at a summer camp. And I really enjoy reading about summer camps because I actually grew up at one. My dad was the director of a summer camp, so I grew up every year going to a week of camp. We follow our main character, who is a counselor. It's a special camp because it is for the deaf and blind, so it has great representation and talks a lot about ASL and kind of the culture around that. So I am really excited to dive into this one, hopefully very soon. And the final romance book I have is Every Time You Go Away by Abigail Johnson. I think this one deals with some heavier themes. I know the main character is in a wheelchair after an accident, so I think it's dealing with like the aftermath of that. Also finding love, and I think it's a friends to lovers. And sometimes I enjoy having a book that is more bittersweet. So again, I'm looking forward to just taking this one to a cafe or out to the park and reading it in the sun. I also wanted to mention 2 middle grade books which have been on my radar for a while that I've been looking for a good opportunity to read. The first of those is Wretched Water Park by Kiersten White. I read Kiersten White's Camelot trilogy a while back and really enjoyed it. So when I saw she had a new book coming out, the cover really caught my eye, and it just looks like a fun, whimsical adventure. And the other middle grade one I have is Anyana Del Mar Jumps In by Jasmine Mendez, and this is actually a novel in verse. I won it in a competition for Hispanic Heritage Month back in September, and I have yet to pick it up. It deals with like swimming and a girl's journey from illness and recovery, and I think she's trying to get back into swimming again, so the water theme made me think that it would be just a great read for the summer. And finally, we have a more miscellaneous pick, but it has summer in the title, so that's why I was saving it for this time of year. And that is The Invincible Summer of Juniper Jones. This one is a historical fiction set in the 1950s, and it takes place in Alabama, so I imagine a lot of it will be conversations about race, but I believe that there is some romance in there as well. Hopefully it ends up being sweet, but I imagine that it could get quite sad. But it is actually a Wattpad book that was picked up and then published. I've never read any Wattpad books before, and so I'm really intrigued, but I have heard amazing things about this book, and I think that I'm really going to love it. That concludes this video. I hope that you found some great ideas for your summer TBR. I would love to know what your summer reading plans are, or where your favorite spot is to read during the summer. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!